Hi guys, it's Sebastian with Looking, Feeling, Smelling Great. I'm back with another video for you today, and this time we're going to go ahead and review Intenso by Dolce & Gabbana, this bottle right here. So please stay tuned. So Intenso is the first Dolce & Gabbana fragrance I bought for a really long time. It's been a while. I started out with D&G back in 1994, which actually this smells a lot like to me. I've also worn By, and there was another one that I wore in the late 90s, a longer bottle. Now I'm drawing a blank with the name. But I kind of stopped wearing Dolce & Gabbana fragrances, but this one really got attention. I actually really love the bottle, brown, and the packaging was really nice as well. So I thought I'd give it a try. First impressions, I guess I saw the advertising campaign for this fragrance, and anything with the word intense kind of makes me excited, thinking, okay, it's an intensified version of an existing fragrance. So this one's actually just called Intenso. It's not called Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, which I believe this is more of a flanker of, or an updated version of, which came out in 2012. But the version I wore was the original back in 94, but I started wearing it in 96. That version of that fragrance was pretty loud and really big, bold fragrance. I worked for a photo lab, and the very first time, I was very young, I was just going to college. A client or customer walks in wearing this fragrance, and with my nose all, caught up in the chemicals, I smelled that Dolce & Gabbana or D&G, and immediately I fell in love with that fragrance, and I ended up with the bottle. The bottle is also very similar to that, to the 94 edition, and as well as the 2012 edition. And then also the light blue is very similar. So the same theme is in the bottle design with some of the men's fragrances for a while now. So what do I think of Intenso? I was expecting something really big and bold. Unfortunately, I've kind of been let down with this one. It's just not really cutting it that much for me. It just kind of seems like they've tried to alter the original Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme from 2012, or even the 94 edition, and tried to make it intense, but they didn't succeed with it. And one of the things that kind of was caught me off guard was the water notes. Why would they add water notes to a fragrance that needs to be intensified? Now that kind of was a thing where I was like, okay, well, this is kind of not going in the right direction. The other thing that was actually kind of exciting about this fragrance was the fact that there was tobacco, and I really love that note in fragrances. And unfortunately, in this fragrance, I don't get the tobacco much. I get somewhat of a tobacco, but the tobacco is more a cleaner tobacco, more of a fresh tobacco, rather than a dirty, used up, dried up tobacco note in some fragrances that I really love. The big note in this is the lavender. I mean, the lavender is in here, and it kind of pretty much dominates the whole fragrance, which is not a bad thing. And that lavender note is what really kind of gives it the similarity to the original fragrance. This fragrance actually comes off very clean, almost soapy. Aromatic fougere type fragrances are known for that. The lavender note especially has this very clean and fresh quality to it. So that's a good thing for this one. I was expecting a lot more with Intenso, and unfortunately I did not get it. The best thing about this fragrance is the fact that the packaging is just really beautiful. The bottle is really a beautiful color, but the performance unfortunately is pretty lacking also. There's no way that they should have called this fragrance an Intenso, because it just doesn't come off like that. Now if you have the originals of these fragrances, the D&G version from 94, which I'm not even sure if they make that anymore. I think it's probably discontinued. Or if you have the 2012 edition, which this came 3 years after. I think this might be a little bit of a overkill to have both. I only bought it for the bottle, and this is, like I said, my first Dolce & Gabbana fragrance for some time now, and I wanted to have it, and I like it, and I'm not sure I'll be pulling for it a lot, but anytime I want to wear something that's not overly loud or really big and bold, I'll pull for something like this. And when I want to wear something that comes off very clean and something safe for work environments and things like that, I will pull for this. But in no way is this similar to the 94 edition that I wore in the 90s. This is just kind of falls flat with the fact that it's just not intense at all. The other unique thing about Intenso is that this is an Eau de Parfum edition, and the previous version was an Eau de Toilette, so it does have a little more concentration, but it's just performance-wise, I pretty much get about 5 to 6 hours, nothing more, and I would expect an Eau de Parfum to have over 8 hours of longevity. Projection is also kind of very moderate, and it's closer to my skin. It doesn't project a lot. It's a bummer that it's not the intense version of a fragrance I was looking for. So would I recommend Intenso by Dolce & Gabbana? I think Intenso should be sniffed before buying. I think definitely not a blind buy unless you've never worn any of the Dolce & Gabbana fragrances, and it's your very first entrance into the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme line of fragrances. If you have had the previous versions, then definitely this is not needed. It would be a redundant purchase personally. Now if you're a collector, then you might want to have this next to your bottles. I think it's quite nice. Color wise, quality of the presentation is just beautiful. Although the cap is a little complicated, it's a little tight, it's not magnetic like some other ones are. It just kind of comes off cheap, but once you get past the cap, I think everything else about the bottle and packaging is pretty excellent, I think. There's 3 different sizes of this fragrance, and what I ended up with was a 120 ml 4.2 ounce bottle. It was a decent deal. I ended up getting some kind of a little coupon gift for a future purchase, which I never used. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is my quick take on Intenso by Dolce & Gabbana. Have you worn this fragrance? Do you have it? What are your thoughts about it? I would give this a 2.5 out of 5-star review, just because of its lacking in a lot of different areas. But for someone that's just getting into fragrances and has never tried the D&G or Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, this would be a good one. But if you already have had those fragrances, I'd say stay away from this one. Alright guys, see you all later. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe with the button at the top. I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.